Now at 6:30, tensions are on the rise in Los Angeles after President Trump deployed the National Guard in response to protests over his immigration policies.
Our community is in terror, is scared to just live, to just exist.
This as the president faces an impending legal battle with the state of California.
Plus,
new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world.
Trump's travel ban goes into effect today. What the new restrictions mean for the administration's crackdown on immigration.
And Israeli forces detained a ship of activists from across the globe carrying aid to Gaza. What the volunteers are saying about their mission. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ty Carpenter.
And I'm Abigail Semple. Welcome to Newswatch.
Southeast Ohio is under a severe thunderstorm watch.
For details on the potential storms, let's hand it over to forecaster Steve Nedlick.
Yeah, guys, a lot of southern Ohio, especially earlier in the day, was under a severe thunderstorm watch, but about half of that has been canceled. Columbus was under it earlier, and then they really got hit, and so now it's kind of rained itself out of that energy. But as for us in southeastern Ohio, we're still under that watch, so we'll be on the lookout for that as we head into the rest of the night. Now, the culprit is this system with this cold front that has moved through and been really fast moving, so it hasn't dumped a lot of water, but when we had these thunderstorms pop up, they dump in quick bursts, so that's where the flood warnings, or excuse me, the flood watches were from. Now, we've dropped off temperature-wise big time. We started today 78, 79, and we're all the way down to 67 with still some of this light rain sticking around, but we are still going to be watching out for some thunderstorms. As we head into tonight, they're going to stick around but slowly taper off, so a low of 57. And then as we head into tomorrow, they're going to move out, and then the clouds are going to go with them in the morning, but then we will have some sunny skies heading our way, so stay tuned for my full forecast.
The state of California is suing the Trump administration after the president called the National Guard to Los Angeles.
This comes after weekend-long protests in Los Angeles over immigration raids. Dozens of people were arrested and law enforcement said the protests turned violent. Vehicles were set on fire and law enforcement used flashbangs and tear gas to break up the crowds.
Trump said he deployed the troops to protect federal personnel and property despite no calls for them from California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
Do people really approve the federal government coming in and seizing power from a state and from a city? I do not believe that Americans support the federal intervention in a city takeover.
With this order, Trump and Hegseth ignored law enforcement's expertise and guidance and trampled over our state's, California's, sovereignty.
This is the first time in decades a president has called in the National Guard without a state's request or consent.
An Ohio recent graduate is being detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
19-year-old Emerson Colindrez is being held in Butler County Jail. He came to the United States over a decade ago and has no criminal history. Emerson's family moved to this country in 2014 seeking asylum after claims of gang activity against them in Honduras. But in 2023, their asylum case was denied.
He is listed as being on hold for ICE on the Butler County Jail's website. Here in Southeast Ohio, the Athens County Sheriff's Office is warning residents about a scam targeting families with relatives who are incarcerated. The Sheriff's Office believes the scammers are using inmate search systems to find inmates' family members, claiming they are with the Sheriff's Office or the court and can release their loved one for a fee. The Athens County Sheriff's Department does not organize inmate release through mobile messaging, phone calls, or third parties. Officials say not to purchase gift cards, send money, or share personal information with these scammers.
The Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles is also warning against a texting scam from scammers claiming to be the Ohio BMV. Ohioans have reported receiving text messages saying they have an outstanding traffic ticket and telling them to pay to avoid license suspension. This is a nationwide scam attempting to get victims to give up their financial or personal information. If you receive one of these texts, officials say not to click on any links sent and to delete the message. You can report the scam attempts to the Federal Trade Commission through the website on your screen. If you believe you are a victim of a scam, you can contact your local law enforcement. For weeks, the city has heard the public testimony over rezoning property in Hooper Street. from R1 to R3, allowing apartments to be constructed.
The change has upset some nearby residents. Reporter Charlie Edenfeld is outside City Hall with more. Charlie?
Tonight is the third and final reading of the ordinance. Members of City Council will vote on the change that has been difficult to bring about in the past. To force City Council to table plans to rezone the area for R3, allowing for townhouses or apartments to be built. Now, the city has its gaze set on new property along Hooper Street. Councilmember Alan Swank, who introduced the ordinance, said Athens needs new and affordable housing. But nearby residents have said the change could cause environmental, traffic, and noise problems. More than anything, residents have cited change to the area as their greatest concern. A developer, Hilltide Partners, has already expressed interest in the property. There still has to be a public bidding process, but if council passes the ordinance tonight, developers are interested in the area.
Thanks, Charlie. The Southeast Ohio LGBTQ community came together to celebrate their community this weekend.
Newswatch reporter Talia Milowich has more from this year's Athens Pride Parade.
The weekend was packed with festivities. The parade set the stage as the main event. Balloons, rainbows, and glitter filled the streets of Athens Saturday. People came together to celebrate who they are with friends and family.
We just feel comfortable to be ourselves, and so that's why we're here, is just to celebrate a big family.
Over 100 people cheered on the parade that featured local organizations and groups. From kids to adults, there was something for everyone to enjoy.
Pride is amazing because it makes you feel a sense of community, whether you're out, scared to come out, proud, whatever. It's just for the community to come together and not be scared of the rest of society.
Drag queen Miss Lady Dior says those participating and attending were able to express themselves how they feel most comfortable.
You see everybody walking around in things that maybe they wouldn't, feel comfortable walking around in their daily life.
Following the parade, Union Street was lined with vendors and performances. People shared their own stories and encouragement for others in the LGBTQ community.
I don't feel like politics and structure.
The parade's Grand Marshal says that it's important to keep celebrating and showing up. In celebration of Pride Month, many will continue celebrating across the state. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Talia Milowich, live in studio.
Thanks, Talia. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Broadband Ohio announced more than $20 million in grants to expand broadband access. The broadband pole replacement and undergrounding program reimburses internet providers for upgrading their infrastructure to provide high-speed coverage. Certain providers in Southeast Ohio serving Adams, Belmont, Carroll, Gallia, Morgan, Muskingum, and Perry counties received grants to improve their infrastructure. This is the program's third round of funding.
3 candidates are running for the chair of Ohio's Democratic Party. Tomorrow, the Ohio Democratic Party's executive committee will meet to vote on who will lead the party after former party chair Liz Walters resigned last month. Now, Stowe City Councilor Kyle Herman, former Representative Kathleen Clyde, and Tammy Wilson are all vying for the top spot. There is only one Democratic statewide elected official, but all of the top officials' terms are up for the 2026 election.
A new travel ban goes into effect today amid rising tension over the Trump administration's intensifying immigration crackdown. Julia Benbrook has the latest with why the administration says it is enacting this now and what it means going forward.
President Donald Trump's sweeping new travel ban is now in effect. As of Monday, most citizens from a dozen countries, mostly from Africa and the Middle East, are now barred from entering the United States. In addition to the 12 countries the ban applies to, it also imposes heightened restrictions on 7 others. Groups that provide aid and resettlement help to refugees quickly denounced the move. When Trump signed the proclamation last week, he framed it as a way to protect the United States, saying, quote, "We cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States."
The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made And likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world.
According to the guidance issued from the State Department, the ban applies to those in impacted countries who do not have visas issued before the effective date, and that visa applications from the affected nations will still be reviewed and approved as appropriate. Those exempt include dual nationals, diplomats, and government officials, as well as some athletes and coaches for major sporting events like the World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. Trump tied the announcement of the new restrictions to the recent terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. He said that it underscored the dangers posed by some visitors who overstay their visas. The man charged in that attack is from Egypt, a country that is not on Trump's restricted list. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Volunteers on the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla, including activist Greta Thunberg, released videos stating that they have been taken illegally against their will by Israeli forces. They asked citizens to pressure their foreign ministries and help keep them safe. This after the Freedom Flotilla attempted to get aid to the people in Gaza.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
The group posted a photo on Telegram early Monday local time showing members of the crew of the Madeleine sitting inside the boat wearing life jackets and with their hands in the air. Israel has repeatedly vowed to stop the aid boat from reaching Gaza.
Coming up, turning up your air conditioning could come at a higher cost this summer. What experts say you can do to lower this month's utility bill.
And the Army's 250th anniversary is just around the corner. How Washington, D.C. is preparing for the President's Parade.
Thunderstorms are all over the area. Find out more next.
Beyond the clamor of modern life, we're all searching for answers to life's biggest questions.
We begin to ask questions of the soul, what we believe, why we believe it.
We're all different in myriad ways, and yet here we are, sharing something.
We speak with leaders who have made it their life's work to examine and uncover the wisdom we all seek.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
In some ways, Portsmouth was one of the last small cities to field a team and get a franchise. What was kind of extraordinary about Portsmouth was it was able to field an incredible team. For a brief moment in the sun, a little sweet spot that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship, but they put together the team that ultimately did win the championship in 1935 in Detroit.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.
I love it.
Welcome! Whoa, Nelly!
Let's set this palace on fire.
I love it.
Welcome to the News Hour.
What does it mean politically?
Oh. Fasten your seatbelt. I love it. I love it.
Delighted to hear it. You make a good team.
It's the greatest spectacle on Earth.
This is a monster. It's a big one.
They'd all disappeared until now.
Now, we've had a busy weather day here in Athens today with rain, sunshine, I mean, everything you can name. We started the day in the high 70s, and now we're sitting in the upper 60s with some light rain in the area. Now, the culprit for that is this cold front that has pushed through our area and is still actively doing so, and that's brought with it a lot of rain, some thunder, and actually, we just got out from under our severe thunderstorm watch, and so that's a good thing, but again, Parkersburg still under that. We had Columbus under that earlier. They actually had some flooding occur because they just dumped so much water on the area. And now Parkersburg can still deal with that. We have a special weather statement below, and that's because of a thunderstorm moving in the area. So the threat is still there, but it seems like we've had that threat lifted from us. Now, these storms are still kind of in the area, but they are dissipating, but they were moving extremely fast, so that's why these flood threats weren't as crazy as we thought they would be. Now, you can still tell where a lot of the rain occurred. In Zanesville, 70 degrees, but we're still under these severe thunderstorm watches. Charleston, 80 degrees. 10 degrees warmer, so it still has all those ingredients you need for a thunderstorm. That's why we don't have it anymore, but they still do. Moving into tonight, these storms are going to maybe stick around. There might be a few raindrops here and there, but we're going to continue to cool off because of that rain and those clouds. We didn't really get any heat today, so it's going to be a pretty chilly overnight with some rain still in the area. Now, here's another thing. There's another cold front moving behind the front that's moving through us right now, and it's a low pressure system sitting all the way up here, and it's allowing for this northwest flow to push some of this wildfire smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and that's going to introduce it back into our area for the next few days. So Tuesday, Wednesday, even though our skies might clear up, it's still going to have that hazy-ish kind of look that we saw a lot of last week. Now again, it's going to push out a lot of these clouds and get backfilled with this haze, but again, those clouds aren't going to be there, so we are going to start to dry up, and then it's widespread clearing by the time we get to by this time tomorrow. So it'll be a pretty nice summer day as we head into tomorrow with highs jumping back up into the mid to upper 70s. So that'll be nice for us. And then Wednesday, we are still looking at that cold front sitting there, but it won't move into the area until about Thursday or Friday, and that high pressure system's really going to allow us to clear out. Now, we really have an interesting 7-day outlook right now. We have, again, Wednesday, we allow for all that heat to move into the area, a lot of sunshine for us. So 84 on Wednesday, and then Thursday, we start to see a little bit of that cloud cover come back into play with that front moving into our area, but a high of 87. Now these overnight lows are gonna be pretty low, 55, 59, 62, because we don't have any clouds to help keep that heat in, and so it's just gonna radiate back out. And then on Friday, we're gonna have some clouds and storms move back into the area. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, looks like it might be a bummer of a dad's weekend. Hopefully that clears out and holds off for us. So we'll be watching that very closely as we move further into the week and get more confidence in our forecast.
Well, Steve, weather's kind of all over the place this week, like you mentioned. So are families finally going to maybe be able to get out to those pools this week?
I think it's the middle of this week that you really got to take advantage because, yeah, unfortunately, there's some rain in the forecast for Father's Day weekend. So you should take advantage of the sunny skies that we're getting in the middle of the week.
Well, you want to be at the pool during the summertime, so I'll be hoping for it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for keeping us updated, Steve. As temperatures rise, so may your utility bills. As more people crank up their air conditioning to beat the energy costs are increasing. This year, the average electric bill between June and September is projected to reach $784. That's 4% higher than last year when adjusted for inflation. These costs may be surprising to consumers.
People can be really shocked when they get those first bills, particularly if their rates have changed in their region.
To lower costs, experts say you can make sure your HVAC system isn't more than 20 years old. Use shades to cool down rooms. Don't use your dryer, dishwasher, or oven in the middle of the day. And only turn fans on in occupied rooms.
The U.S. Army is preparing for a military parade this Saturday in Washington, D.C. to celebrate the Army's 250th anniversary. Officials say the parade will feature dozens of tanks and fighting vehicles as well as other artillery pieces. Most of the vehicles arrived in Jessup, Maryland today after traveling by train from Texas. The effort has sparked concerns about how the roads in D.C. will fare under the weight. The Army Corps of Engineers has started reinforcing the roads along the parade route. Officials estimate the parade could cost as much as $45 million. And coming up, the U.S. State Department has resumed student visas for Harvard exchange students. What alumni are saying about the Trump administration's freeze.
PBS viewers believe that businesses that sponsor PBS on WOUB Public Television have a commitment to quality and excellence. Sponsoring a PBS television program offers your business a unique opportunity to connect with a highly engaged, loyal, and trustful audience in a clutter-free environment, leading to increased brand awareness, positive perception, and potential for higher customer engagement. Your sponsorship is important to the community, and the rewards come back to you in the form of loyal customers. Align your organization with America's most trusted news and public affairs network. WOUB Public Television is worthy of your trust. Contact Corporate Support Director Kathy Malesic at 740-593-4909 or online at woub.org/support.
I think we need to have a little chat.
Just the two of us, then.
You're going to need an awful lot of popcorn.
What a wonderful idea.
Patience. She's an absolute natural. We wouldn't have a case without her.
Something doesn't add up about any of this, does it?
Nope.
Fishy.
Fishy. I never thought that if I did another Atlantic crossing, it would be as a refugee.
Sunday on WOUB.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people. When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now.
So-called reciprocal tariffs are slated to resume 1 month from today on July 9th. The Trump administration says that Bahrain deals with the list of countries involved. Today, U.S. and Chinese officials are meeting in the UK to discuss trade agreements. Amy Kiley has the latest.
I'm very comfortable that this deal is about to be closed.
President Donald Trump says top U.S. and Chinese officials are holding trade talks in London today. They follow his call with Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Thursday.
It's going to be closed not with a bunch of staffers and bureaucratic language, but with handshakes.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is participating in the negotiations. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer are with him. After their talks with Chinese officials last month, the countries say they have a, quote, mechanism to continue discussions about economic and trade relations.
It's my hope that cooler heads will prevail.
The U.S. and China are in a 90-day tariff de-escalation. For now, U.S. duties on Chinese imports are at 30% instead of 145%. China's rate is down to 10% from 125%. But Trump accuses Beijing of violating that agreement.
We want the rare earths, the magnets that are crucial for cell phones and everything else to flow just as they did before the beginning of April.
China accuses the U.S. of provoking it by raising tariffs first. Most economists say trade wars are inflationary.
This was a solution in search of a problem. Couple these horrible tariffs with what we're experiencing domestically, and the American people need relief.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
What was supposed to save the government money is instead costing millions each month. That's according to the union that represents U.S. Department of Education employees. The agency is paying more than $7 million a month to employees on administrative leave. And the salary payments could continue for years as the court battle over cuts instituted by the Trump administration plays out. The Education Department laid off roughly 1,300 people in March, and hundreds more took voluntary buyouts. The firings were part of President Donald Trump's larger plan to dismantle the Department of Education.
The U.S. State Department has ordered diplomatic posts around the world to resume processing of Harvard University student and exchange visitor visas. Early last week, the Trump administration issued guidance to posts which told them to refuse visa applicants for students and researchers going to Harvard. But a district judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking the move. The Trump administration and Harvard have both previously cited concerns about whether foreign consulates were appropriately processing visas for prospective Harvard students. More than 12,000 Harvard alumni have signed on to a legal message of support for the university in its court battle with the Trump administration. The school is challenging the administration's decision to halt more than $2.2 billion in federal funding. The alumni added their signatures to an amicus brief, a legal document from a third party offering the court additional information about a lawsuit. The group claims it's the largest known alumni brief from a single school in history. Harvard sued the Trump administration in April over its decision to freeze federal funding.
This is going to remove the biggest barrier to food donations.
Still ahead, what one congressional bill proposes to make sure no animals go hungry.
President Bashar al-Assad has been brought down. Thousands of people celebrated.
The inside story of mass detention, torture, and killing, told by those who carried it out. And their victims.
ما بحسن يعني إنه يكون شادي عم يتعذب وأنا عم بسمع صوت النعذاب.
ما بعرف كيف ممكن نتجاوز هالواقع وكيف بدنا نداوي جروحاتنا.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
For intelligent, insightful reporting.
Were you surprised that they were using Signal to talk about really sensitive stuff?
There have been screw-ups in Washington since time immemorial, but I can't think of one quite like this.
Join moderator Jeffrey Goldberg and the country's best journalists for incisive analysis of the most consequential stories.
There's been a lot of soul-searching on the Democrat side about what went wrong.
Once these tariffs go in, the question becomes how long they will stick to this policy and what will be the breaking point.
It's about to go down.
We're just surrounded by weirdness and absurdity all the time.
It transforms everything.
I think I just fell in love.
I'm turning dreams into reality.
What did we do? How did we get here?
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
A helicopter was used to retrieve a runaway zebra, which was captured after more than a week on the loose. During the search, the zebra got plenty of attention on social media, and it got nicknamed Ed. During its time on the run, Ed prompted the closure of a section of a Tennessee interstate. Ed was eventually captured in a field about 45 miles south of Nashville, airlifted to an animal trailer, and returned to its owners. The owners say the pet zebra escaped a day after they got it. Politicians on both sides of the aisle can agree on one thing: pets.
A new bill called the Bark Act would make it easier for stores to donate expired but still usable pet food to animal shelters. Millions of pounds of pet food goes to waste every year because of sell-by dates.
While this food may be usable, many retailers won't donate it out of fear of being sued. This bill hopes to change that.
By donating food to shelters, more people can feed their pets, meaning they won't have to give up their pets if they can't afford pet food.
All right, well, that's such a wonderful story. I'm sure that'll make the lives of a lot of families in this area a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have a dog that you want to take for a walk tonight, you might need to wait until some of these thunderstorms move out of our area, because tonight we do have some rain that's going to be around. As we look into the rest of the week, though, we're going to get a little bit of a break until we get to the weekend where the rain returns.
I'll be looking forward to it, Steve. Thanks for the great work today, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Steve Nedlick, I'm Ty Carpenter.
And I'm Abigail Semple. Goodbye.
Stay tuned for our PBS NewsHour coming up next.
This is PBS, but it could go away if federal funding is eliminated. Go to protectmypublicmedia.org and tell Congress to save